So me and my old man originally made these videos just as a guide for how the car came apart and where things went and the path of different wires and stuff. So that's kind of what the videos were mainly made for. I just thought that it'd be good to share them with people in case that you're putting your car back together at the end of this job and you also can't remember, you know, how shit went, where certain things went, where bolts went, for example. Me and my old man are not professional mechanics, we're just amateurs. So it's not going to be perfect, and don't expect, you know, perfect tutorial and everything. And you should mainly be using that guy Mudfuzzy Gambiza's videos on timing chains. That's what we use as a guide for this as well. I'll link to it in the description box. But yeah, just if you get stuck on his or you can't quite see how he's doing something, there's a good chance that it's contained in here on how to take shit apart, because yeah, that'd probably be your best bet for finding certain things that sometimes when he's showing things in the video, he misses steps, or it's not clear about how he's unbolting stuff or exactly which bolts it is, and that's what will be probably covered in this video. This is just a general tip, and before you start, you should probably do something like this so that you can remember which bolts came from where, because there's that many bolts and a lot of them are the same size. So it's just a useful sort of housekeeping thing.
One way plus
some sort of airflow sensor.
Put that on.
Yeah.
Put it on.
Yeah. All the way. Yeah.
Like that. Just go like that. Yeah. Pull it off back a bit.
And that, if you're looking where that kind of comes from, it's the bottom part. Move with the lights. The bottom part of this cord, which comes up here to the right hand bank of the cylinders, and then it goes underneath. Because I remember we couldn't remember the route. Yeah. Underneath here, and plugs in here. 2 breather hoses, 1 and 2, and the back.
Yeah.
Goes over the top.
Right, we'll see you soon.
Over the top
Bye.
Of the sensor there that comes out.
See ya.
And around the top, it's not underneath anything. And then over the top again, and here. Brake booster line starts here. This big circular thing runs through this clamp, underneath these 2 radiator hoses, back up the top of the radiator hoses and into the back of the plenum here. Housing here, bolted in with a 10mm bolt. Give me the light again. Bolted in with 10mm. Feeder hoses go over the top of it. So these feeder hose here is above the unit. And same with this, above the connector.
So I'm gonna check.
Another feeder hose here, another PCV or whatever it's called hose here, attached to the side of the throttle body, goes under the engine, under the plenum, sorry, and comes out. Give me some light. I need light over there. Comes out, I think it's here, underneath all these other lines, but I think it's this line here that connects here. Comes out from underneath the engine.
I think so.
Underneath
Yeah.
the plenum, yeah.
Yeah. I think
so. The bleeder hose comes on this rocker cover here, on top of the rocker cover. This is the pain in the ass one that keeps snapping. And how it works is it's got a tab that you have to slide that way, and then it will lift off. I've already got the path recorded. So. The PCV valve from the back right hand side of the right bank rocker cover. We just need to move it out of the way so we can get better access to the rocker covers. So this just slides out. This component just slides out of here. As you can see, that just goes in there, and then this is just a matter of a couple clips here, 1 and 2, to get some more clearance, which is should be just a push. either way. So how they go is this top one, this one on the left hand side here goes back, goes fucking dog around, and then loops back on itself. Loops back on itself under here, comes out the top there, it's this line, so it kind of does this. If I can zoom my hand out more, does that behind, if you can kind of see that there, comes from the top down, loops around itself, and then back out the top over here, which is up here. And this the right hand line, there, just goes back down behind the back of the rocker cover, and it's that line there. There's a sensor on the neck of the air filter, and it runs underneath, wraps over itself underneath, comes out here, then it goes back and joins with these two here, which joins, this is the top part of that T-junction there, and goes down.
For one night, won't overdo it.
Marker has been marked on this end to show which end's which. This hose goes underneath this pipe, goes underneath this breather line. Do you want to pull it out? Yeah. And then this hose is coming out next. Just grab it with your hand, gesture which one.
Yeah, there's a clip here that it clips into, just here.
And it goes
underneath this other one.
Hang on, move your hand. Goes along this line. Clip, move that in your hand. The clip here. And it goes underneath this other line.
Yeah.
And then up, and then joins the bottom of the coolant clip. So radiator hose into the expansion tank underneath the coolant, has a plug on it. Pull it all the way out. It goes underneath the coolant hose. Sorry, the radiator hose on the top there. And where does it go under there?
It just plugs into this side of the coolant cap, reservoir, whatever it's called there.
Oh, I see it trailing down now. Yeah. Okay.
So this one's actually got a clamp on it.
We're gonna unplug the radiator fans here. In terms of the way the line runs, move your hand. Just watch out. Yeah. It runs along here and just down there, and move your hand. And
clips in here, way down to there.
And where does that go? Just on the back of the fan?
Just on the back of the fan,
and then this line just goes, I can see this one, it just goes down, and then on the back of the fan there.
Well. So this just gets...
So we're removing the clips to get the radiator out. So you get a flat head under it and kind of shimmy upwards, left and right.
That's it. Once it's up like that, it's loose, and all you got to do is pull these up now, and that's it.
Yeah, so then you're removing these. Once the clip's been lifted, you just shimmy left and right and pull. And then eventually lifts off. So they both look the same. Can't see any reason you'd have to put one a certain way. They both go this.
That's exactly the same, so yeah.
Okay. Two 10mm bolts with washers on them. They bolt the radiator to the, what's this?
Condenser unit.
The condenser unit. There's one that goes through there, out there, and one that goes through there, out there. And two nozzles there for automatic transmission oil, and they attach to these, which have been tucked up inside the radiator fans.
What?
Hang on. Yeah, and that has a black marker on it to help you identify it. And then the second one's tucked up here. You don't need to put it in.
Yeah, we'll just...
We know where they go, and there's black mark. Okay, so when you're taking the radiator out of the car, the radiator here has these guides on it, and you actually want to, when you try to take the radiator out, what you can't see in the video is when you try to take the radiator out, it'll try to lift the the AC condenser, which is here, and you actually want to leave it in the car. So you'll have undone all the bolts and everything, and you'll be trying to lift the radiator out, and this AC condenser will keep trying to come with it. So what you actually need to do is come to the front, and this is what you can't see in this video, come to the front of your car, stick a flathead screwdriver through, and actually press on, there's a little clip just below that perforated section there. You need to push there with a flathead, and push there with a flathead, and then the AC condenser will actually separate from the radiator and allow you to lift the radiator out and leave the AC condenser behind. Okay, 6 10mm bolts, some sort of weird rubber washer on them in the middle. There you go, here, and all 6 of the coils, ignition coil. Okay, you got grey wiring loom at the front of the left bank of the engine. 2 orange, got an orange wire on it, and it connects to this. 2 pins, and an orange and a red and a black. Orange and a red and a black, can only go one spot. Okay, so this big plug here on the front of the left bank, 2 cable ties, and they're tied around this metal fucking thing, just kind of tucked in there. This orange wire path underneath the big plug, and then it joins here on top of this large wire, and yeah, the big plug sits on top of the orange one and sits underneath.
Oh, that's why the cable tied it.
Sits underneath this line here.
The cable tied it because this thing. Okay, so it's got a locking system which slides all the way back, and allows this to come out with 2 little pins that line up here. Could you get it the wrong way around? No, you can't. You can't get it the wrong way around. It can only go one way.
Yeah, and they've made white marks on it anyway, it looks like. White mark. If you look, white marks here, and then there's a white mark up there.
Silver, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Okay, you got 3. This is left bank. From this wiring loom, you got 3 plugs, all with clips facing forward. 1 here, here, and here. 2 orange clips on the outside, and what looks like a green clip in the middle. Left clip goes underneath the wiring of the middle clip. This clip comes out the other side of this bracket here. This left bank wiring rope, there's a clip just here, and that's what clips all this up onto the rocker cover. One last clip on this left bank area. Got 1 wire here that runs down back behind this sort of metal stick up, down behind this metal plating, and connects to this clip just here, and you can see the clip there, and that's down, and that's out the front of this, and then down behind. Okay, if you see where this is, left bank, there's some cable ties on all these wiring looms, and I think that the cable ties are stopping me from pulling this wiring loom off the cover to expose the rocker cover. So I'm gonna cut this cable tie here, because I think that's the main thing stopping me from tucking the wiring loom out of the way.
Just on the back of this long plastic strip, clip onto here,
It was supposed to
which
clip
is
onto,
supposed to clip onto there, but it's
been snapped by the previous person who did it. So they're not going to sit anywhere flush when we put the car back together.
No,
they're just kind of going to have to tuck in somewhere.
Have to hang, and maybe get cable tied to this or something.
Right. Just a video for the reference of the wiring loom on the right hand bank. So left bank goes under the water inlet hose, cooling inlet hose, up to here. This unit is clipped on again by this clip here. You've got far left clip comes out the bottom of the three, second clip out the middle of the three, and third clip out the right hand side of the three. And once again you've got a clip, sorry, your third clip actually comes out here, and yeah, once again third line goes down past that silver bracket and clips just under there, if you can see it. Clips in there, right on that sensor. Kind of went in that groove.
All right, so they all these
Three
clip back into these
guide,
plastic guides, end up sitting back over the cylinders where the plugs are.
Yeah, okay. And then behind it's just
The whole wiring loom sits inside this plastic, whatever this is, yeah.
And then what's behind back there? Just more wiring further back.
Just more wiring, yeah.
Okay. Okay, the right bank wiring loom for the connectors to the coil packs. The actual unit that holds the loom has two clips at the bottom. We've snapped one of them, and they just clip underneath here. You can see the far clip here. When you want to take it out, it's just levering it out.
Lever it backwards.
And then putting it back on would just be clipping it back on, probably coming from an angle to clip it back on.
Yeah.
And the clip point, if you can see it, is just down there. You can see the notch sitting up on the bridge there. Hold that in your hand. So you got, this is the right hand bank wiring loom for the three connectors for the coil packs. You've got, just give hold one of them, just give me this one.
Yeah.
So this section, using these clips here, clips onto the side of the...
Onto the block, yep.
Onto the block, which then the wiring loom sits and is tracked.
Yep.
And you can see the grooves 1, 2, and 3 along there for the wiring to the coil packs.
Yep.
And then it's all sealed in with this second plastic component.
Yeah. Yep. Box in.
2 long 10mm bolts hold this water neck on here and here, and bolt up here is 13mm. Okay, so there is a lot of these 10mm bolts on the rocker covers. I'm going to start with the left rocker cover. I'm going to start at this bolt here and go anti-clockwise, and I'm going to start with 1, then 2, and 3, 4, label them all that way. And then once I've done that, I'll work out how many there are, and then I'll start here on the right bank. I'll start with this one on the right bank and go this way, and I'll pick up the number, and then the start number will be the number after the last number on the left bank. Okay, we've got 2 what I believe 13mm crankcase bolts. They actually came from between the power steering pulley here. So one comes from in the middle of this section here, and the other one comes from, I think, the bottom section somewhere around about here. Not to be confused with the bigger bolt, which is sitting, there's 2 bolts, which is one 13mm here for the tensioner, and then there's also a big bolt just under here that you can't get to, but not to confuse these 2 13mm between one gap here and a second gap about here. So these rocker covered bolts should be easily identified because they have this sleeve on them, And I'm starting once again with one here and moving this way around one colour. I'm just going to remove these gaskets for reference. Left one, 2 holes at the top, no holes at the bottom. The guides can only go in one spot. There's a guide there on the right hand corner right there. Whereas the actually, I think they might be able to go either way, but it's just a reference for what it looks like. And same with this one. So the rocker cover bolts on the right hand bank are differently designed. They have some sort of washer rubber setup, but either way there'll be a total of 26 rocker cover bolts, 1 to 13 on the left bank and 14 to 23 on the right bank. Bolt 14 starts here, 15, 16, all the way around. 2 bolt 20, 26 here. Completely different bolt style on the right bank than the left bank. Okay, so both rocker covers are off. In order to, the left rocker cover can come off freely, the left bank. However, the right rocker cover, in order to get it on, you need to loosen these two,
one down the
what
back
were these,
here.
13 mil bolts. There's one there.
And one down the back
And one down the back. You need to loosen them slightly so you can move this lower part of the air manifold up and out the way. Then the right bank rocker cover can come off. So this is the rocker cover off on the left bank of the engine. Now, when we took the gasket off, there was points of glue, one here and one here, maybe to hold the gasket in place. And the gasket design is this style. And you can tell that it's the right gasket because it has this extra section here for the oil gallery. And you can see here the glue points where they've glued it, same as on there. And this, in the direction that the gasket goes, is this the black line facing down to the floor, and this upper ribbing tucking in here. Okay, right bank rocker cover glue point. It's actually the glue point. It must be a factory glue point because there's a hexagonal shape, and there's nowhere else on the gasket is there a hexagonal, 2 hexagonal surfaces. It's like it's prompting glue.
It's on both.
Yeah. And so that would be here was one glue point on the right bank, and here was the second glue point on the right bank. 2 10 mil bolts hold the power steering reservoir, one here, and the second one is just above the belt here. You can see the point, and if we take it off, hang on, just hold the weight for a second.
Yeah, good.
No, like push the bottom in more if you can, so I can get this last bit out. I just want to make a note. No, like push the bottom in more here, like that, so I can pull this bolt out. Yeah, now take it out.
Well, it might not come out.
We'll just try to move it a little bit.
Careful about hoses and stuff, you know.
So I can just make a note of the fact it was this, it was here,
Yeah.
and it was also here.
This
Okay.
thing's
Okay, water pump pulley, 4 10 mil bolts. Sits here, and the timing belt goes over the top.
yeah. So you got to get the path of this belt, because that belt's going to come off.
So this belt here, this part of the belt, should have been over the top of the water pulley.
Yeah.
Goes
Next top.
up top of that, then under that, then through that, around over the top of this,
All the way back around.
down, move your head. Then around this one.
Around the tensioner, yeah.
Around the tensioner. And then, back up. Or around the tensioner, then where does that go once it goes around the tensioner?
Well, it's here. Pinch these two together. Yeah, that's one that way and one this way, so it goes around the alternator.
And then back over the water pump pulley. Alternator, then the water pump pulley. Yeah, I've got it.
Got it?
Pretty sure.
This is probably the confusing bit here, you know, these two. So if you get them two right, you can't really go wrong with the rest of it, you know.
Yeah, well, because it's pretty decent. So I had a video of me explaining the route of the timing, the accessory belt, but it was shit and wasn't clear. So here's a still of the path of the accessory belt. All right, 6 10mm bolts hold the water pump pulley, behind the water pump pulley, the gasket to the hole there.
Bolt off the big pulley down the bottom. Crank pulley. Crank pulley.
What size is it? 19. 19. Yeah, it was a 19. It has a big washer on it.
Big fat washer that doesn't really come off anyway. That's it.
Okay, 13mm bolts hold the fan belt tensioner on. The shorter one with a rubber sort of grommet on it goes. Shorter one with a rubber grommet goes through here and into there, and the longer one goes straight through the middle of the unit. And then there's another 13mm here behind the power steering pulley, but can't seem to get to it at the moment. Unknown pulley, bolts in it already. I think it's about a 15 or 16mm. Belongs here next to the AC compressor here, below the timing belt tensioner, here. Slots in here next to the harmonic balancer. Okay, so this is just a video explaining about the power steering pulley and what you actually need to take out to get it out. And it's basically it's actually only 3 bolts, well, 3 bolts and a line. So, you know, this line here has to be undone from the power steering reservoir. It's actually, if you look at if this is the power steering reservoir, the right line stays in. It's the left line that needs to come out, and we ended up plugging it up to stop it from leaking. But that's one thing that needs to come out to take this pulley off. Second thing is there's 2 13mm bolts here and here. These hold the power steering pulley in place. They actually sit behind the actual. You can get to them through. They can get to them through this disc. You can kind of see them there. There's one there. You can see it through the disc there. So there's 2 13mm between there, here, and here. And then there's one more you need to undo, and that's this bolt here on top. Now there's not just that bolt, there's actually this line here that sits underneath that bolt. As you start turning that bolt, you need to be careful to hold this line and stop it from turning with the bolt, because if the bolt turns, this turns with the bolt, and you'll actually bend this like we did against the engine block, because it'll turn with the bolt and start getting pressurized against the engine block. So you need to hold this in place while turning this bolt at the same time. And then once that bolt's out and the 2 bolts between here are out, the whole thing will be loose, but it won't come out. And how you get it out is it actually slides in and out in terms of left and right. So you won't just fall out, it'll still sit in there, and you need to hit it from the left side. Now, whatever you want to use for that, we used a hammer and a piece of wood against it and just started striking it from the left, and it kind of comes out and out and out and then just falls out. So that's how the actual power steering pulley comes out. It's a bit more complicated than you can see in the video. Alright, timing cover bolts, pulling them out in a sequence. 1, 2, 3, 4, down here, 5, 6, 7, 8 at the bottom, 9 right next to this harmonic balancer, 10 on the other side of the harmonic balancer, 11 just below that, 12, 13, 14 here, 15, 16, 17, 18, and then 19 here behind the AC compressor. Can't get to it yet, and 20 in the middle spoke of the harmonic balancer, but I have to wait until the harmonic balancer puller arrives. But that's all the actual timing bolts. Okay, so to move the AC compressor out of the way, it's 3 15mm bolts. If they're not 15mm, you're undoing the wrong ones. Just stop there. So the first one is through here, and it attaches to here. Don't make the mistake, it's not this one here that runs laterally. It's definitely here to here, sorry, to here. And the second one, you can see the hole for it here, and it's actually just underneath this big thing. I'll see if I can capture it. You can see it there, just underneath. That's 2. And then the third one is an absolute pain in the ass. You've got to jack the car. Make sure you jack it correctly. You got to take the wheel off. Well, I took the wheel off. You might be able to do it without taking the wheel off. And it's actually, here's your for reference where we are, here's your oil sump. That's your transmission oil sump. So oil sump, drain plug, look past the drain plug and you'll see here's the part that has to come off, and attaches all the way to here, and it's 15mm. If it's not a 15mm, don't bother undoing it. So look where we are. So I recommend taking the wheel off, but that's up to you guys. Now that the AC compressor has been removed, we've exposed this, which is the final, the second last timing case bolt. The final one is under the harmonic balancer, but can undo this one now. So the this housing here for the power steering actually needs to come off as well. You can't see it in this video, but it does. And it's what was this, 18?
18 at the top. Yeah.
18 at the top, 15 here, and then another 15 just here from where I'm tapping. So not the one for the oil reservoir. Just below that is another 15, and then that'll loosen this off. So I've just removed the final pulley, and it's the harmonic balancer, which belongs here. The tool you need to get it off, the official tool, looks like this. It's about 200 something odd dollars on eBay. You might be able to use something else, but it's probably the best idea. They are called Harmonic Balancer Puller. The company is G&G Techniques. If you have a VE Series 1 SV6, it'll be a 6-spoke like that, and there's a compatibility table on eBay as well for them. But now that the harmonic balance is off, the final 13mm timing cover bolt is exposed, and should take the timing cover off. So if you're like me and didn't bother undoing this metal bracket, then you can't get this sensor out. It has to come all the way out. Can't turn in the port much, so you'd need to undo this bolt here, which is a 13mm, and that should come away. And then also with these sensors, there's no like trick to them. They can be quite stiff. You've literally just got to shimmy them left and right, and then they come out. There's no like, there's no turning to the left and then they come. It's just shimmy left and right to loosen them up, and then they come straight out. So the timing cover's off now. The previous sealant has like burnt, and it's kind of fallen apart a little bit. You can see kind of stuff of here. The water inlet gasket that comes in the kit, so that's fine. We can replace that. All of the old gasket is kind of crammed and stuck in these guides, so that's all going to need to be cleaned out with a razor of some kind. And then once all that's out, you'll have to wash it, clean all this crap off, dry it, and then new sealant, new kind of gasket maker all along here for when it goes back on.